Stitch Roadies. Thanks for stopping by. For those who have been hanging with me, thank you for hanging with me. Those who are just coming by for the first time, welcome. Hope you hang out. I think today I'm just gonna catch you up on what I've been doing, and then maybe we could just stitch a bit together while we just chat, or rather while I chat and listen to what you have to show me. Yeah, I would love it. I wish this was like that, where I could see right away what you're gonna show me. So turn my phone off, and oh, I found something. I have to get it. Hang on a second, okay? I'm just going right here. G and I went antiquing. You know, sometimes we just like to go, like, we like to just kind of kick around the junk. And so we went over to Oregon City to go to a secondhand furniture store, which was closed. So we had already paid the meter for a bit of time, so we decided to just walk down the block to an antique store that we like. And look what I found. I found this old pin cushion. It's absolutely adorable. Look at that. It's a little teapot with this old ball, stuffed ball that was packed into there, and it is just so cute. I just love it. It's so sweet. I'm really getting into the collecting of those things, but they are far and few between. So what have I been up to? I've been trying to keep up with my one thread a day on a couple of, well, 3 projects. One's not quite every day, but I still feel really good about that that idea, and especially what has made it more successful is the fact that when I sew the 1 thread a day, I anchor the next day's thread, so it's just ready to go. And I think that's a real, you know, I don't feel like I'm making a giant leap for Stitch Roadie Stitchers. Say that 5 times real fast. But, and I know those projects that I'm doing that on probably won't be done this year, I'm thinking, because it just, 1 thread a day, you know, and I cut my thread, you know, so that I get a nice chunk, still is not quite, but it feels good. I think that's the difference, is I feel satisfied. And so let me show you what I've been up to. So many of you already, you had downloaded the pandemic pattern by Long Dog, and that was a 23-page pattern. And I'm doing it in hand because the piece is so big. It just is easier for me to do it in hand. But just by doing 1 thread a day, I've gotten that much done on page 1. And I'm quite pleased, because otherwise it would be just sitting there absorbing my energy of, oh my gosh, 23 pages, I'll never get it done. But 1 thread a day, and I can see the design come out. So I'm pleased with that. I'm going to continue the 1 thread a day. The other project that I'm doing that with, and mind you, probably this week I did 1 thread a day for 5 days, or maybe 6 days. You know, there was a day that I was too busy and I didn't stitch, and so it didn't get touched. But the other one that I'm doing the 1 thread a day is the trees. And I know many of you, you know, ever since I saw Cassie Jo Stitches, her finished one, I have been motivated. But my 1 thread a day meant that I got the 2 little bushes at the bottom in this week. And it is making me not stressed about these projects that are big. You know, sometimes when the project is really big, you feel overwhelmed and like, how am I going to get it done? And the third project that I put into that same category, but that I have not kept up every day. I probably stitched on it for 4 days this week, but that was still more than I had been, was the my husband, it's that old chart. I'm doing it for, I started it on G's birthday, and there I am. I'm still in the confetti heavy grass area. But I think this will get done before his next birthday. And then I'll have to start a new one. And this is a very old chart by Linda Myers. Oh, it's raining. It's so fabulous spring weather here, because it will rain and then the sun will come out and the plants will just, and then it'll rain, and I love it. I just love it. I can't say enough how much I love it here. So what else has been going on? I have a finish. Isn't she adorable? I cannot tell you how excited I am that she is done in time for the birthday. I just think she's absolutely adorable. So now I have to get that off in the mail. And then, what else? Okay, let me get going here. Let me get organized here. I started, you know, it's May Mania, and I said I was going to do the 3 berries. The Erica Michaels. This is the first 3 berries of the 12 berries of Christmas, and it's kind of like Lost in Floss. I'm doing Mania My Way, MMW, if you need an acronym. And if you remember me sharing with you that this was a whole kitted up project with a huge piece of Weeks linen that was already kitted up by a cross stitcher who did those cross stitches back there that I had framed. What I have found out in this project is that she was an expert, Kathy was an expert cross stitcher, and her sister's the one that gave me this project after she passed away. So the first one I'm doing is you know, partridge in a pear tree. And can you hear the rain? I have the window cracked. It's lovely. And yet there's bright blue sky over there. Okay, I digress. What I have realized is that really stitching on this week's Dye Works fabric, although the color is fabulous. It wasn't the called for color, but it was the fabric that Kathy had chosen, and she had all the threads already kitted up and ready to go. I was just kind of hoping I would find, maybe I left it attached to the, oh yeah, I did leave it attached. Oh, and she got this. Can you imagine? This must have been a few years ago, because she has passed away probably I'm thinking 5 years or so. This is, she got this from Acorns and Threads. Weeks linen, 32 count cocoa. It's wobbly. It's wobbly. And so I put it in a Q-snap, and I have attached it, when I work on it, I have attached it to my elan frame, because this week's Dye Works is just, with all the little bumpy things, I mean, week's Dye Works fabric reminds me of my aging face, where I feel like I'm a piece of coral in the ocean, and I have all these barnacles starting to creep up on my face. What the heck is that about? What is it about aging that you start getting, you know, I don't know. But that's what the week's Dye Works fabric reminds me of. So I had to put it, I couldn't do it in hand. I couldn't get the count right if I did it in hand. So I put it in a Q-snap to kind of tighten it, straighten it, and then I used the elan frame. But I got the partridge done, and the trunk of the tree. Yeah. This is in a fabulous bag by Kindred Stitcher. Lisa, oh, it's so awesome. Then one day I was able to sit and watch some FlossTube, and I hadn't seen many of my friends, and I love all these people. You feel like, don't you feel like we're friends? And I feel like I've known them, you know, for a while. And I think part of it is that on FlossTube, most FlossTubers share bits of their life. And so you feel like you have a connection. And so Lost and Floss are started to sell. I'm on board. I'm on board, totally on board. So she's doing with another person, and I am joining also, the Prairie Schooler 2021 Santa. And it just so happened that I had it. So I kitted it up, and this is the funny part, is that when I was reading the instructions, you know, I'm not creative, and I don't go outside the box that I'm told. That's why when something, you know, like I'm pointing, but you can't see it, but my Eiffel Tower, my Paris, that Carmel Stitches on my blog, I have, she's in Japan, and she does cross stitch and quilting and just about anything she does. And her husband's a woodworker. So, you know, I emailed her and I said, what pattern is that you're working on? What the colors did you use? And she got back to me, and she said she did it on 40 count. So what the heck? I went down and got 40 count. I didn't know to be afraid. doing a project on that high of a count at that time, at the beginning. And now I find that I have not ventured outside that box. Whatever the designer tells me, I just do it that way usually. Although I have sunk into the 32 count comfort zone. So this called for 18 count Ada. This little pattern here. And the hashtag is 2021 PS Santa Sal. Prairie Schooler Santa Sal. So, I'll put that in the description box if you want to join. But it said it was on 18 count Ada. Now, my drawers have been stocked with a lot of linen, but all of a sudden this one package that I know I bought at an antique store, secondhand store, was a package of 18 count Ada. And so I said, well, I'll just do it on that. I totally get Ada. Ada's like a no-brainer. It is, you can see the holes. You can, it doesn't wobble around like the Weeks linen, although I have to say I'm still going to use the linen. I love the look of linen, but I can see I am totally sold on that 18 count Ada. So I started it, and this is the, so there's my start. Here's the funny thing. I'm used to linen. I did 2 pieces on Ada back in the 80s when Robin first taught me how to cross stitch. That's all there was. And we had a cross stitch shop in Bend, Oregon. So, and that's what they carried was Ada. So those 2 projects are on Ada, and I love them. But when I had the second go round of getting sucked down the rabbit hole, everything has been linen until yesterday. And I totally get the love of Ada. Now I'm hoping that all these Prairie Schoolers call for 18 count Ada, because I could see me doing the whole bunch on there. But here's the funny thing. Oh yeah, I'm kind of jumping all over. I had a smoothie, and so the sugar is, you know, the fruit sugar kind of hit me. So I thought that last night I was stitching away like I do on linen. And so I was going over 2. And I did that for like 5 stitches. And I said, my gosh, these are gigantic stitches. And it's not going to fit on this piece of Ada that I cut, but it said that it's supposed to. You know, I read the measurement of what I was supposed to be stitching on it, what the finished size was, and I said, it's not going to fit. And then I said, do you go over 2? And so I'm looking really closely at the front of the pattern, and I realize that they only go over 1. Totally cracked me up. Totally cracked me up. Oh, there's my glasses. And my Prairie Schooler Sal is in That's So Kelly little this is a Marauder's Map little project holder. I think they call him a Bitsy Bob. I don't know. But it's very cool because it has this pocket inside, and then there's this felt piece. So I am working on that. So I have 2 new things started. They are the Partridge in a Pear Tree and the Prairie Schooler Santa. Other than that, I'm keeping up pretty good on the agenda I have set for myself. I got this lovely little package from Jean. Thank you, Jean. You're so sweet. I mean, it's like, oh, it makes me want to make more project bags, because just look at this, some of these things. First of all, she sent me a coffee pattern that Count the Cups, a petite red sampler by Artist Designs. It was a download, because she knows that I'm doing a, I have a whole coffee theme in my kitchen area. Isn't that beautiful? This is going to be a soon start, most definitely. But she must make cards also, like my other friend, because, oh, I dropped that. A beautiful card, beautiful card. But look at these. I mean, you just, so many fun things in here. There was so many fun things. There was some little trim. Look at this. I believe this is called a, let me move forward here. I feel like I'm sitting back. I believe this is called a counting. Isn't that gorgeous? And then there's all of these beautiful, I'm not going to be able to show them to you adequately, but if I make, when I make project bags, there's little charms to hang or to use them on other things that I want to have a beautiful dangly. You see that? And then there's this wonderful bitty board by Lori Holt, which is great because I am also, so now I have 2 sals going. I have the Prairie Schooler sal. Oh, look at this one. This one has a flower on the end of it. That is so beautiful. So beautiful. Thank you so much, Jean. Little fun little ball. The other sal, let's see, where could that have gone? I am doing a sal with the Fat Quarter Shop. And I told you that I was doing it. It's the Sail Away sal hashtag. I'll put that hashtag down too. I love it. Of course, you know, I grew up I was born on a beach, literally on a beach. My family has always had an affinity for the ocean. My dad used to say that the reason he was a New Yorker and the reason they moved to the West Coast was because my mother, who was Korean, wanted to be closer to Korea across the Pacific Ocean. And so we have always had a great affinity for the ocean, the Pacific Ocean. And yeah, so we spent a lot of time when I was little. My dad used to fish off of Moss Landing for food. you know. We were very humble means back then. And so to supplement the grocery, he would surf fish, and we would camp on the beach, and we'd camp all night on the Moss Landing beach. And so they would wrap me in a blanket and tuck me in the sand dunes, and I would sleep while they sat up and fished. And that is why when I go camping near the ocean, if I have the window cracked and I can smell and hear the ocean, I sleep like a baby. I mean, I sleep like a baby. I just love it. And so I'm doing this whole room in our house that's kind of an ode to my parents. I think I've said this before. Ocean and sailing. So I've got the chain link border done. It was kind of strange because it doesn't come around the bottom. The bottom, it doesn't have the chain link. But I don't know if I'm going to figure out how to do that. I'll have to see the rest of the design before I decide. My mother actually, I've told you all these stories. I digress. I'm repeating myself. I am turning into, you know, I have one girlfriend who, her daughters go like this when she starts telling the same story over and over again. Yeah, I feel like there's probably hundreds of you going, we've heard that one. It's so funny. So what am I going to stitch? I think I'll just stitch on, these are all so lovely. Thank you so much, Jean. I think I'll just stitch on my Prairie Schooler Santa while we continue chatting a bit. I tell you, this 18 count Ada is just awesome, awesome, awesome. And I know that it is a little stiff, I will say that, but not uncomfortably so. The sail away sail I'm doing on an even weave. Oh, I love that. I love that. Yeah. So tonight we're going to have the first dinner guests inside our house. It has been a year and a half, I think, since anyone has eaten inside our house. My daughter-in-law's parents are coming over. We've all been vaccinated and all feel comfortable with each other, so we're going to do that. And that'll be a blessing. It'll be a blessing. Sometimes I get a knot, and it's hard to get it out. So how have you all been? I was looking at the pictures. You know, I'm not very good at, I mean, it's kind of funny to say I'm not very good at social media, but I don't have the notifications turned on my phone because it would just make me bonkers. So I try to just, whenever I have a little downtime, either at night as I'm winding down, or in the morning as I'm having coffee, I'll look at this at the social media. So sometimes I'm way far behind on seeing what people are up to. And it was really fun to see my friend Karen, and then Lisa of Kindred Stitchers, and Lori from Textilist, and that they all went to the Midwest retreat. And oh, the projects were just beautiful, just beautiful. And then they got to go to some quilt stores. I was mainly jealous because I really would love to meet Henry, Michelle's dog. He just, you know, he's so handsome, and he was such a cute puppy. He was such a cute puppy. You know, the thing about Ada is that you don't even need a hoop or anything. It's like, it's so, I mean, it's stiff enough, and you can see the holes so well that you don't need a hoop. I am going to be going to Acorns and Threads next week. I hope I am able to see some friends when I go there. I'm in the midst of reading The Searcher by Tana French, and it's like I can't put it down. It's it's a suspense mystery set in Ireland, and it is interesting to kind of get a feel for what village life is in Ireland, you know. And I've been just enjoying it. In fact, I went ahead and realized that she has written a whole series of other books, and so I started putting them on my library list. Yeah. That's the one country I've not been to. I mean, really close one time. We have friends, dear friends, who are Irish, and I mean, you know, at one point in our lives we shared a household, and just really good people. And our kids, some of our kids grew up together, and we, I don't know if you remember that show. I think I want to say Art Linkletter, but maybe it was someone else, but it was, I think it was called This Is Your Life. It was like a, kind of like a game show, and my friend's father, if I remember this correctly, immigrated to America from Ireland and was working, and then I'm probably not remembering this correctly, but it must have been his sister or something, put his name in for this show, and so he went on, I mean, an actual TV show, this young Irish guy on this TV show down in Los Angeles. And what they had done was they had brought the whole family, the wife and all the kids, to America. Things were different back then, obviously, but when a TV show could bring you to America. But so he grew up predominantly here, but it was a great story of how he ended up in America. And then we became close friends because his wife and I were nurses together. Well, I'm making a little bit of progress on this little fox. I think it's a fox. Can't wait to get to the owl. Oh, I didn't even see the raccoon. Santa's holding a raccoon. How funny. This is a great little pillow. Now this is going to get me excited. Maybe this little project pouch will be my Prairie Schooler Santa pouch permanently. I do think I need a cabinet. I kind of have my, you know, like my quilting is all in the Beehive, what I call the Beehive, and it's my quilting room. But my stitching is scattered around in the master closet and in the bedroom here. And I think I'm going to be looking for, I've kind of been pondering it, some kind of antique cabinet to go over there that I can store it all in one spot. I got the idea because if you haven't had a chance, you must go back and watch Brenda and the Cereal Starter when Brenda gives you a tour of her house. Oh my gee. I was like flabbergasted at how many beautiful pieces. And I so loved the idea that she said, why, when we do seasonal things, do we just put them all away and bring them out only once a month? That's because we're only decorating like one little cabinet or one little shelf with a theme. But she has everything out. I don't know. It totally appealed to me, which has sent me down searching for the perfect, you know, the perfect cabinet, antique cabinet, where I can not only store my things all in one spot, but also maybe has a shelf for displaying, and I could not believe it. And you know, and I've been such a minimalist about hanging things on the wall, but it never occurred to me to put like 10 samplers on the same wall. I know people talk about sampler walls, but oh my gosh, that was like amazing. It was an amazing video and well worth the second or third look. So I'm going to be hunting for that and trying to get my cross stitch life. I like how my thread is organized on the rings. See, I have this, like for this Prairie Schooler Santa, I just like the floss away bags. You know, we live in a dusty climate and the floss stays well. And then once I'm done, I take these floss away bags off of here and put them on the number ring that they go to. And then look at, I have my As the U Flies little ring tag. Some days I amaze myself. Other days I look for my scissors while I'm holding them. Isn't that a crack up? And then on the back, keep calm, stitch on. Yeah. So I just hang, whatever I'm working on, I hang the ring on the little knob of the center console table here that we have. Yeah, so I've been, oh, I got a knot on the back, didn't I? Look at that. Don't you just hate that when it's way far back and you're trying to figure out? So where am I? Oh, right here. What was I telling you? Laugh with me, laugh with me. Oh. You know what, how you feel when you watch the Friends show and you are like, you're kind of a little bit green with envy because you want to have a group of friends like that that, you know, kind of like Cheers, everybody knows your name, and Friends, you know, Ross, and, you know, I just got that same sensation and was a little bit envious, I have to admit it. I have to admit it. I was a little bit envious when I watched Sambrie Stitches with the Steel City Stitchers. I think that's what they're called, Steel City Stitchers. Those four friends, yeah. If there was a weekly, oh, there is a weekly. I was just about to say, if there was like a weekly comedy show with four Stitchers, I would be watching it every week. And they have a YouTube channel, so I can watch. Oh my gosh, I cracked myself up. Wake up, Anna. Yep, wake up. Oh, and now the sun has come back out. Did you see the light change here? Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to let you go because I hear G, you know, banging the pots and pans down there, and we do have company coming, and maybe I should go help. And, yeah. Well, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me. I know I can barely hear you, I know, but I feel better when I have done this because I know you're out there and we're all rooting for each other, aren't we? And to get these projects done. But consider doing the one thread a day on some project that's just being a pill. On that project, just say one thread a day, okay? We'll see you next time.